great day. And I am so glad. I think I'm the only one in this room that did not know Janet. But I do now. She has moved around as much as I have, I think. I moved from state to state. She moved around in southern Lafayette. So we both had a lot of experience about packing up, moving, and taking it out. So it was just a delight to get to meet her. For those of you who read the bulletin or the news, the title is Help Find the Missing with Blade, the Ogar Polski. Do you know what that means? She'll tell you. Janet Winslow was born and raised in Lafayette, and she served as a police officer for the city of West Lafayette since 1982. That makes her 34 years old. She started as a search and rescue volunteer in 2008 with Ellie, one of her Australian shepherds, in human remains detection. Now, I asked her about this, but she didn't think bringing human remains would be a good idea after you've eaten lunch. So just bear with her in that. She was training another Australian shepherd in scent-specific trailing until his passing from bone cancer in 2015. Janet has always had a passion for serving her community with the help of her canine companions. On August 29, 2016, Janet launched a fundraising campaign to bring a professionally trained Ogar Polski,
Polish
hound, to serve our community as a volunteer search and rescue scent-specific trailing dog and human remains detective dog. I'm reading a bunch of books now by the guy that helped write some of the script for Bones, and so we were just talking about all that right before lunch. So I want to present to you, and many of you know, Janet Winslow.
Thank you very much for having me, and I do know a lot of you. See a lot of friendly faces and familiar faces. Okay, so I'll just get right to it. You know my history. I've been a police officer in the city of West Lafayette for over 34 years, serving my community. And back in 2009, I started search and rescue with my Australian shepherds. So I started with Ellie, who was my human remains detection dog, because some people found some bones in the south side of West Lafayette, and I was a crime scene investigator at the time. So that was my case, and I'd always wanted to do search and rescue with dogs, but I was an Australian shepherd freak, okay? I mean, I've had 6 of them. And so I never thought that the Australian shepherd was good at search and rescue. Well, when they came from Indiana Department of Homeland Security to find the rest of this body in the south side of West Lafayette, they brought a border collie and an Australian shepherd, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's when I started Ellie in Human Remains. I was doing Tiger in scent-specific trailing because I felt the need for that here in our community. And sadly, he got bone cancer in his pelvis, and he passed in 2015. And then in 2016, just this March, so March is a really bad month for me because Tiger died March of last year and Ellie died March of this year. She just went outside, and according to my vet, she had a tumor on her spleen and it ruptured, and there was absolutely nothing they could do for her. So I got to thinking, okay, I really, really want a scent-specific trailing dog and a human remains detection dog in the same dog. It's possible, but I just, instead of having 2 different dogs, I wanted one and the same. But I was really fond of the Australian shepherd. I have a 5-year-old Australian shepherd at home. He's doing human remains detection, but he's not really good at scent-specific trailing because he's a little scaredy cat. So my problem is if your loved one is missing, and I use my little scaredy cat, and we are trying to find you, and your life is on the line because you're lost, and he gets scared, and he shuts down, then obviously he's not a good choice. So I've been doing some different researches on different breeds and thinking, would I ever go away from the beloved Australian shepherd? And I've been reading a lot of books by Jeff Shetler, who is a canine professional trainer at Georgia Canine, and he's written several books. Most of them are really actually training books. And he had mentioned the Polish Hound a couple of times. And so I started researching the Polish Hound, which is the Ogar Polski. And they get to be about 65 pounds maximum. And the Bloodhound gets to be about 100 pounds maximum. Well, I can carry a 65-pound dog out of the woods if he gets injured, but I certainly can't carry a 100-pound dog out of the woods. And I'm not leaving my dog behind. So I started researching that, and then, I was kind of just playing around with the idea and searching the internet, see if I could find some Polish hounds. And then the teacher went missing. I don't know if you're all familiar with that. She went missing, and I thought, dang it, I wish I had a scent-specific trailing dog. So I didn't. They found her. Thank goodness they found her before she perished. But I thought, I've got to do something about this. So I saw on Facebook, since I was a Facebook friend of Georgia Canine Training Center, I saw that they had 2 Polish hounds that they were training for scent-specific man trailing, which is scent-specific trailing. And what that means is there is a tracking dog and there's a trailing dog. The tracking dog will track the last person through an area. So if we have a bank robber or something, a tracking dog can take off and track the last person. Or with our police canines, if the guy jumps out of a car and runs, the dog can track that person. Scent specific means we give the dog a scent article from the missing person. The dog could actually literally, if I had that dog with me right now, we could take one of your scent articles and the dog would be able to pick you out of this crowd, because that's the way he's trained. So I called Georgia Canine Training Center and I said, hey, I'm a police officer in the city of West Lafayette, and I want search and rescue. I do not want this dog to be a police dog, because with our procedures at the West Lafayette Police Department, police dogs are owned by the police department, and they regulate where the dog goes. I don't want to have this dog in this community and not be able to take him to Delphi or Attica or Logansport. If there's an autistic child missing, an Alzheimer's patient missing, a little child from a park, I don't want to be restricted by an agency that says, no, you can't go help. So volunteer search and rescue is exactly that. Volunteer. Nobody will pay me to go to Logansport and find their missing person. So I called Georgia Canine and I said, hey, I'm interested in one of your Polish hounds. How much are they? I had no idea how much a professionally trained dog was. $15,000. Okay, so I'm on the phone and I'm like, what? But I didn't say that out loud because I wanted to act like I knew what I was talking about. And I said, okay, all right, thank you, Jeff. But my question is, you have him listed as single purpose, scent-specific man trailing. Can I add human remains detection to this dog? He says, absolutely. I said, I'm not going to damage anything that you've done, because I have, sadly, a freezer in my garage that has a bunch of body parts in it. My husband hates it when I tell people that. But I do have human remains in this freezer, and it is legal because it's like teeth and, stuff that's easy to get. Dentists love me. So I found out that I could add human remains to him, and I said, okay, it's going to require me to do a little bit of maybe fundraising. So I said, okay, I'll get back with you. Now, this dog was 6 months old at the time, and he told me that it would be January or February before this dog would be ready to go home. So I thought, okay, I got some time. So I hung up. My husband walks out. I was sitting on the back porch throwing the ball for my dog, and my husband walks out and says, well, what'd he say? I said, $15,000. And he went, oh my. And I said, yeah. So I thought, okay, this is not going to happen. So I teach 2 dog classes at our Greater Lafayette Kennel Club. And we, as instructors there, are not paid. It's it's for the Greater Lafayette Kennel Club, so we can provide dog training for the community and stuff. So I was teaching my Canine Good Citizen class, and I had a gentleman in the class that was retired businessman, and I was sharing this dog with him, and he goes, I'll get you some money. And I said, okay. He's like, I know people at Milestone and people at Fairfield, and I'll get you some money. So he calls me and he goes, okay, I can get you $250 from Fairfield, but they want you to be nonprofit. Oh, okay, all right, so let's research that. So I found a Tippecanoe and Rally 2 is a local nonprofit whose mission is promoting responsible dog ownership. And they also do seminars and obviously in training dogs and stuff. So I got a hold of them and I said, hey, what do you think about this? They loved it because they know me. They've known me for, I've had my competition Aussie since 2000, and they've known me since then. I've had 4 Australian Shepherds during that time, and so they said, we will sponsor you in this. So we started August 29th. I went on WLFI and I started this fundraiser, and to date, I'm going to cry. To date, $10,550. And those are little things. Those are the biggest one I got was I got $500 from my kennel club. But I was at church the other day and this couple walks up to me and hands me a check. And of course, I didn't think it was appropriate to look at the check right in front of them, so I stick it in my pocket. And after I'd seen them, and then I'm standing in the sanctuary singing music before church starts, and I pull out that check, and it was $550. So I'm like, what? And so people in front of me are like, what is wrong with her? And some people know me. Being a police officer, I sit in the very back because I've got to be the guard of everybody. And I am like flipping out. I mean, tears running down my face, and I'm like, what? This is just a normal couple. This isn't a business or anything. So that was so cool. So $10,550. I've got a $15,000 goal. I've done that in 2 months. I figure I got 2 months to do the other $4,450. So the reason why I think this dog needs to be here, we have awesome, awesome police canines. But this dog is going to be on the volunteer side. I can go anywhere I'm needed. I'm not, now, obviously I'm a police officer in West Lafayette, and right now I am not on duty because I'm talking about my dog. So that's why I'm dressed like I am. I do have my police pants on because I'm going to go back to work. But so what we'll do is, if there's a need for this dog and its life, if it's human remains, then obviously that can wait until I get off duty. But if it's a life on the line, if it's a missing autistic child or a missing Alzheimer's victim or even a missing little child, I will speak with my employer and say, hey, we've got this need. Can I go off the clock? I work so much overtime, so they're trying constantly to get me to go home. But can I go off the clock? Can I go home and get my dog and go help find this person? And they've assured me that we'll probably be able to do that. So, like I said, volunteer search and rescue, we never get paid. Now, sometimes, if you have heard that search and rescue units have been paid, it's been, for instance, when you have a missing person, like the young lady down in Bloomington. People have been missing for a year or a number of years, and we have another lead, and somebody says, yeah, maybe I saw something over here. They sometimes pay those dog handler teams because it takes a long time. You have to, you go there, you spend hours and hours and hours searching areas. A lot of times search and rescue dogs are called out for natural disasters, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes. And a lot of people don't even understand some of the fundraisers I've been trying to get set up. People are like, I don't get it. Why isn't this going to be a police dog? Well, probably 97% of the missing people in our country are found by search and rescue volunteer dogs. Just because it's our passion. It's not that it's not the law enforcement canine passion, but they have other things to do. They have criminals. They have bank robberies. They have drug deals. They have all of those. Dogs are busy all the time. So what we will do, and what Blade and I will do, is take that pressure off of them for some of the other missing things, and help agencies and communities that don't have a scent-specific trailing dog. Or Ellie was the only human remains detection dog in our area when she was alive. So we did get called out a couple of times, and we're successful. So that's my project, and I see not that all of you are going to wander away at any time, but hopefully if you do decide to wander away from your homes later in your life, hopefully that Blade and I can find you and keep you safe from perishing. So thank you so much for inviting me, and I'll take any questions that you may have. Questions? Anybody? Yes?
So are they, is Georgia Rescue holding?
Yes, Georgia Canine Training Center is, okay, so when I had that first conversation, he said, now it will require a half deposit. I said, Jeff, I don't have $7,500. I've been a police officer for 34 years. So he said, for you, I'll take $35. Okay, so I didn't pay this deposit right away. I kind of just held off because it didn't look like, I kept following him on Facebook. I kept going into his website, checking out these dogs and seeing that people weren't jumping all over them. So, because it was a non-refundable deposit, and I thought, if I'm taking your money, I'm giving your money back if I don't get $15,000. If I don't get close enough for me to top it off, I'm not keeping anybody. I'm not in this to keep people's money. I'm in it simply to buy this dog. I will be responsible for all of his care afterwards. The nonprofit will actually write the check to Georgia Canine. I will take it with me when I go to pick him up. In January, I will spend 10 days there. I have to pass 4 written exams and 2 physical exams. I have to run behind a very long-legged, very agile Polish hound for over 3/4 of a mile in very dense woods to pass a certification test. So yeah, I started running again. This is going to be fun. But so they finally emailed me and said, hey, we've got some agencies interested in your dog. You better be sending us the deposit. So he took the $3,500. So we've got a deposit on him. He's ours. And as close as I am, he's ours. I'll get that other $4,500 and $4,450 in 2 months. So that's what, yeah, they're holding him. Anybody else? Yes.
I believe there's a dog training facility near Peru, Indiana.
Von Lick.
Do they do similar kind of work, or?
Von Lick Kennels trains a lot of the police dogs. That's where you get all of the police dogs. I don't know if they actually train search and rescue dogs. And you know what's really interesting is a lot of my friends in the dog training world, I've been in search and rescue since 2009. And one of the guys said, $15,000 is an awful lot of money. Why don't you just get your own dog, rescue a dog, and train him? I said, well, yes, I could do that, but it's going to take a couple of years for me to train him by myself, because I had one in training. We were Tiger and I were about maybe, we already had our certification date set, and I'd already sent in the registration and everything, and then he was diagnosed with bone cancer in his pelvis. Friends said, go ahead and test him. Just get the experience. Go ahead and run. I'm not going to make this dog pull me behind him on a leash if he's got bone cancer in his pelvis. No. So, I mean, his care was my utmost priority. So friends are like, just rescue a dog and train it. Well, here's the deal. If it's your autistic child, if it's your Alzheimer's spouse, if it's your little grandchild, do you want me to just take any dog and train him and hope that he finds him? This training facility is amazing. If you remember, about a month ago, there was a young lady she was 6 years old. She got abducted in North Carolina, and on a Wednesday she got abducted, and on Thursday she was found chained to a tree in a woods, still alive, by a Georgia Canine Training Center trained dog. That's the dog that I want to bring. I know he's $15,000, but this dog, I mean, will we find everybody? Maybe not. But we're going to try, and I'm going to have a dog that I'm going to have so much confidence in because of the way he's trained and the mindset and the training expertise that this man has that has this training center. And yeah, Von Lick trains a lot of our police dogs. They have started training some human remains detection dogs. So we'll be right there to help the community with all of those dogs. Anybody else? Yes, I will train. I've already cleared it with Jeff, the guy that's training him, because I wanted to make sure. I'm training Dash, my dog now, with human remains, and I wanted to make sure that I was not going to damage any training that he was doing. And he said, no, absolutely. He goes, but I'm not going to take the time to train him here because you need to get him home, And I said, yeah. So I'm going to train him in human remains.
So when you bring him home, Does he stay in a separate facility? Does he stay in your house? Are there any things you have to worry about?
He will be my dog. The Tippecanoe and Rally 2 will, when I bring him home, they will officially hand him over to me. So they will give him to me because I am an experienced and have been certified search and rescue volunteer in our community. They will give him to me. He will be my dog to feed, to pay for all the medical care. This is the first dog I've ever had insurance on because I am not going to have a $15,000 dog without insurance. So, and luckily I'm a police officer and I have guns, so I can protect him. But anyway, I don't think anybody's going to hurt him because he's not an aggressive dog. He's not a protection dog. He will have a passive alert. He will just sit down and go, this is the person you're looking for. So that's the kind of dog we want finding your missing Alzheimer's victim. So any other questions? Yeah.
My brother's wife was on, and I don't know if she still is, lives outside of Madison, Wisconsin, and she's on a team with rescue dogs. And she went to Germany for a special German Shepherd. There was a special name for that.
Shitsound. Mm-hmm.
And went over there for some training with them, and then brought the dog back and been very successful with that. And
yeah,
that's very neat. That
and you know, there's.
Do you speak Polish now?
No, but I'm going. Ogar Polski. I can say the Ogar Polski. Yeah, I've been to since I've been in search and rescue. I've been going to a lot of training. Indiana Department of Homeland Security offers free training if you're interested in training dogs. We also have seminars. I've been to every seminar they've had and done a lot of trailing things. And after reading Jeff's books and seeing his mindset and how he does things, you know, there's little things different. I mean, the guy is really, this dog is going to be smarter than me. I should just put a GPS tracker on his collar and say, call me when you find a missing person and we'll find you. And instead of me being on the end of the leash trying to keep up with him. Yeah.
Do you have a website where we can go and donate?
I do. I actually brought some brochures that spell out everything, and it has donate information, but he also has his own Facebook page called Blade, of course, Blade the Ogar Polski. His name is Blade. Jeff has Bojam and he has Blade. And so when I had to pick between the two, I like the name Blade. I thought that had a nice ring to it. Now, to be totally honest with you, when I go to pick up this dog, if I see that Bojam is a better dog, and I'm going to be able to work with all of the dogs at his facility because in 10 days you're going to have a lot of work time with these dogs. So if I see that maybe Bojam might be a better fit for me, you'll never know because his name's going to be Blade and he's going to be a Polish Hound. I won't tell you how I know the difference between the two, but I'm going to do the best thing for my community. I'm not going to just go there and get Blade because that's the dog that everybody has donated to. But he has 2 Polish Hounds, so I'm going to take the best of the 2. Anything else? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. This was very, very interesting. I'm so glad to get to meet you. Now, she's in the schools. They let her out today, but she's in the schools. She's in the police department. She's going to go pick up this 65-pound dog. So we want to let you have a little memento and a way of keeping track of all those things. So this is one of our little anniversary gifts. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.